We should never allow the government to decide what is acceptable speech and what is unacceptable speech. We should penalize behaviors, not opinions, and not speech. If you start trying to regulate speech, you start trying to regulate thoughts, you start trying to regulate beliefs rather than behaviors, there's no way that you're not going to abridge the constitutional rights of millions of Americans.
قديش عمرها؟
4 سنين.
This video is going to be about a subject matter a lot of you have heard me speak of in the past, and I feel like needs to be reiterated again about certain subjects that Sean Hannity himself talked about yesterday on his radio show. He interviewed a guy named James O'Keefe, who is an advocate for First Amendment protection rights, and the fact that he's hearing more and more people coming forward talking about how YouTube is beginning, if not they've been using, a artificial intelligence algorithm, and what it's designed to do is to centrally look for certain people like myself who have been hypocritical of Obama, who say that Donald Trump is the best candidate in the upcoming re-election, and I happen to believe that Trump has done more for this country than any president prior, back to the time of Ronald Reagan in 1980. What we as an American citizen should be doing and trying to say to the world is that we relish and value freedom. We value liberty. Most of those who are voting Democrats since the time when Hillary Clinton was running, these are the people who want to relinquish all their rights. They don't want the Constitution anymore. They don't want the Bill of Rights to even exist. They fully accept socialism and communism as their belief system, that they think it's more important in today's society that we accept what the government tells us to do rather than we have individuality to stand up for ourselves. And YouTube itself is using an algorithm to search out people who say that the Democrats have proven themselves to be idiots over and over again during the time that President Trump was elected as president in 2016. Day by day, the Democrats have done everything in their power to discredit his presidency, to try and destroy his credibility as president. And if people cannot see what the Democrats have been doing, it's because they don't want to see it. They want to pretend it's a lie. That's why nobody ever brings up Obama for the things he did as president, as far as the liability of what he did in giving Iran all that money that he then said, well, I can't say where it came from. I can't say what it was for. He said it was for back taxes or for previous payments. And since that time, they say that even Joe Biden verified that the money was used to pay Iran for our hostages that they eventually released right afterwards. And by law, federal law says you cannot use federal money or taxpayer money, your money, my money, to pay a foreign government for ransom or for extortion of the release of hostages. It's illegal. You can't do that. And when Jimmy Carter was president, he was a Democrat. He tried the same philosophy in 1979, and it was only after Ronald Reagan got into office that he was able to barter with Iran to release our hostages. But as far as I know, he did not use money to pay the Iranians off as far as releasing those hostages. He used diplomacy, but he did not use actual federal money as far as extortion or for ransom for those hostages. And if that is not a reason to indict Obama for obstruction of justice, amongst hundreds of other things that he did, and yet you don't hear the media bringing up Obama for his crimes that he committed as president. It's like it's just totally taboo now to talk about Obama at all. If you bring his name up, the media is instructed, if you've got to bring his name into something, talk about it as little as possible and drop it. Change the subject. And that's what James O'Keefe was saying about how YouTube is using this algorithm to attack channels who are hypocritical of the Democrats themselves, the communist socialists. The algorithm also seeks out things that on a global scale is unbelievable. I did a video last year when President Trump recognized that Jerusalem is the capital of Israel. YouTube removed that video, and they simply said it violated their code of ethics. And all it was just a reiterating, a retelling of what Trump did. He made a statement on television. He told everybody it's high time that a president of this country recognized Jerusalem as Israel's capital. And as soon as I posted a segment of that video, within a year, maybe 6 months, they totally eradicated it off my channel. I had it on 2 different channels, and now they've removed it entirely. And I'm sure YouTube would say, well, this causes incitement. And I have to say, it is fact that it happened. You cannot erase it just because you don't want somebody to say it again. And that's what YouTube is doing now. They are eradicating people's channels. I think what they're doing now is they're going after channels, first off, that make money. If you make money for YouTube, if you make money to support yourself, YouTube is flat out removing those monetary options on people's channels. The only reason YouTube has not attacked me yet overall on my channel is because I don't make money for YouTube. I never monetized my channel. And it's for one reason. YouTube was intended from the inception of this service on social media. It was intended to be free. Everybody was supposed to be able to express themselves to the public without worrying about harassment, about having to feel like it's some way or another you could use it for your own benefits of making money from it. And now YouTube is using that as an excuse to get rid of channels that are saying things that are contradictory to the New World Order, to the global government, to the Socialist Democratic Party. And it just shows itself over and over again that the Democrats control, Obama controls every social platform on the internet today. They control Twitter, they control Instagram, they control Facebook, they control Google, which owns YouTube. And all of this is Obama's rhetoric. As a global dictator, Obama is saying to the world, I'm going to control what people say, and I'm going to use everything at my disposal to eradicate opposition, to eradicate those who have subversive viewpoints of the global world order, and I'm going to get rid of them. And Obama has been doing that even from the time when he first took office in 2008. I noticed during the time when Obama was re-elected I was doing videos on my channel about nuclear war that's coming. And I almost felt like Obama was talking straight at me when he said this on one of his press conferences. He says, oh, there's not going to be a nuclear war. And I thought, well, maybe he saw my channel, maybe he saw my videos, and he said, we got to discredit people like that because we know it's going to happen one day, but we're not going to create any kind of mass hysteria on people to think that it's in the foreseeable future, that's going to happen right now in the next 5-10 years. It is very real because Iran itself has nuclear weapons now thanks to Obama, all that money he gave to them. And now they're trying to delay the inevitable, to keep making more excuses about we don't have this, we don't have that. And then they'll say, well, yeah, we are enriching uranium. Everything's now off of North Korea again, but North Korea still has missiles. They still have nuclear weapons. And all of this points to the same outcome the Bible even talks about 2,000 years ago. It said that nuclear weapons will be used against every nation on earth. And it says if God does not intervene, there would be no human life left on this planet. And that's what Obama doesn't want people to know, because that proves in my mind he's Antichrist, because Antichrist is going to keep people as blind as possible until it all starts happening. That's why so many people in the past have laughed off my channel and said, oh, you're crazy, you don't know what you're talking about. And it's like, you're crazy because you yourself refuse to see all the evidence around you. You deny that it's happening. You deny that Obama was and is the Antichrist. He is the representative of a global dictatorship that he already ran the United Nations during the time he was president of this country. Believe that or not, he was a president of the United Nations. And that means he's not going to have to relinquish anything once he totally takes over the world. He'll walk in, he'll say, I hereby advocate that I am your global dictator, I'm your global leader, I'm your global messiah. And I've said this over and over again on other videos, that Obama does not want the world to know he is the 12th Mahdi. And that is why on April 23rd of 2017, the Islamic Brotherhood, the Islamic groups around the world has stated the Mahdi has been seen, the Mahdi has been identified. And they said they were going to tell the world who he was. And never have I seen anything in the Islamic world where they tell you something that's going to happen and it didn't happen. They didn't tell anybody who he was after that date. And that's because Obama himself said, don't talk about me because it's not time yet for me to take over. That's what Obama said. That's what he told the media outlets. That's what he's told the Islamic Brotherhood. He's told all these groups, Hezbollah, all the rest of them. It isn't time for me to take over yet. And what is the event that we're still waiting for? First of all, there is going to be a global collapse of our financial system. They've said that now for 10 years. For at least one decade, they've been saying it is inevitable. There will be a global collapse of our financial institutions. What's that? This is a catalyst to the global government taking over. Once you've eliminated the United States as a currency, as a federal reserve currency of the world, there's only one outcome. These little bitcoins that they're advertising and talking about all the time will become the currency. There's going to be a change on that bitcoin though. It's going to have Obama's face on it because it's going to be him that's going to be entirely the global system of financial stability. The Illuminati, the Bilderberg group, all these groups that represent the global financial economies of the world, they adhere to Obama. They adhere what he says. When he tells them to do something, they do it. And I did a video, I got a guy who commented, this isn't Alexander Soros. And it was a photograph of him, and I found it on the internet a couple of years ago. And these are the people who are trying to disprove the relevance or the danger of other individuals who work within the Illuminati. George Soros himself started the philosophy of a New World Order and a global system. Obama adhered to that. Now you have George Soros himself, who is really an old man He isn't the kind of charismatic person that the Bible describes the Antichrist will be. Alexander Soros is the only guy that looks sort of like he should be on the front of a Playboy magazine or Playgirl magazine. He has the same flair to himself that John F. Kennedy Jr. had before he died. He was considered the sexiest man alive on earth. And Alexander Soros, if you look at him, he looks just like that. He has all of the characteristics of the Antichrist. Maybe what we're going to see is the Antichrist will represent multiple people but have one position of global world domination. Soros himself could be in charge of, let's say, the European Union. And then Obama himself will be in charge of the North American Union and all the rest of it. In other words, they'll split the hemisphere in half. And then they'll make one dictator for one part of it, one dictator for the other half. I'm not saying that's true. I'm saying these individuals have the kind of charisma to manipulate people's minds to make them believe lies that they perpetrate against the American people, against the world. So it's very real. It's very, very real, and it's happening. I bring up the fact that George Orwell is a novelist, and he wrote a story called 1984. The movie was made in 1948, a year after he supposedly wrote this book, and it was supposed to have been about 1948. He decided, I'll flip the number around and I'll make it 1984. I say this, Orwell predicted Barack Obama coming to power. He did not identify who the Antichrist was in his movie, but you saw indications of a socialist world government. And that is exactly what is happening in this country and all over the world today. People want communism and they want socialism because they think it will make things so much more unified. The forced acceptance of homosexuals, transgenders, bisexuals, the equalization of animal and human rights being totally the same. This is supposed to be the philosophy Obama kept saying to people. You want a utopia, you have to do these certain criteria in order for me to do it. And Obama continually did that, and he's still doing it now in the United States. He's trying to say to people, this is no longer about your choices anymore. It is about the global government system telling you what your choices are, what they will be. People say we're conspiratists, we don't know what we're talking about, and I say just play your marijuana wasted attitude about life and about everything around you being unimportant. Live the lie, live whatever way you're thinking you should live, and one day you're going to wake up and realize this is not the kind of world you thought it was going to be, and it's too late because now you've given everything over to them. Your life, your freedom, your individuality. And that's what marijuana does. It wipes out your brain. I can tell you over and over again how they used to advertise, this is your skillet, that's your brain, heat it up, put eggs in it, this is your brain on drugs. Remember those ads? That's what's happening. People are living it today. And the government 30 years ago was against marijuana. They were against heroin. Today, they want it. Why? Because Obama needs it to control people. And that's, to me, that's just ridiculous. Now, I have said this in other videos, but I feel like I should bring it up again. Anybody who has wondered, where is all of this influx coming from Guatemala, from Brazil, from Colombia, of all of these immigrants that are coming here to the United States? They're claiming it's been this bad in past years. But I've never seen it to the level where people were just totally jammed at the border. And I say this, Obama began the campaign in 2009 because I was on Amtrak in 2010. I was traveling to Baton Rouge, Louisiana. They stopped the train and there was a Mexican who was going back and forth to the bathroom smoking marijuana. 5, 6 different employees of Amtrak called the State Patrol's office from Mississippi, which is where we were. They stopped the train at the state line. He got on the train and he told the Mexican, "You're leaving." We have 8 people who are employees of Amtrak who saw you smoking marijuana in the laboratory, in the bathroom. He acted dumb the whole time, like, "I don't understand what you're saying." The cop said, "This is your last warning. Get up. You're leaving this train." And here's what the Mexican told that state trooper when he got up. He says, "It does not matter what you do to me." He said, "Obama promised we will never have to go back to Mexico." When I heard him say that, it proved what's been going on right now at the border today, 9 years later. Obama has been telling these people through the Socialist, Communist, Democratic Party, put out ads, put out any way you have to in these third world countries where there are so many millions of immigrants who want to come to America. We tell them, come to America now. It is chaos in this country. You'll get in, no problems, then you don't have to go back. He was telling Mexicans that as far back as 2010. Now that the Democrats lost the election in 2016, for 4 years almost, they've had this campaign going over and over again on television, in the radio, all over South America. Come to America because, one, it's chaotic, it's a total shambles, and the process of you coming here is so overwhelm America, we'll finally get rid of freedom and liberty in this country. Then you can come in, waste everything that you possibly can when you come into this country, and whatever's left, the global government will take over and everything will be put right as far as whatever the Mexican and what he said. And that's what's going on, folks, right now in America today. That is exactly what's happening in this country today. Obama told the blacks when he was elected in 2008, "If you elect me, I will give you a check every single week." And he did for 8 solid years. Nobody knows that the blacks were getting payments from Obama after he won the election. One night, on the night of the election results, blacks were saying over and over to people on the news, "He's going to pay my bills. He's going to pay my bills." What they said in that statement was, Obama promised us we'll never have to work again. We can sit on our lazy butts and do nothing, and he'll pay us. For 8 years he did, and nobody knows that. Nobody knows that Obama was giving payments to the blacks because they got him elected. Now there's enough blacks in the country who did see what Hillary Clinton would have been, and enough of them said, "We don't want this again. We don't want another Obama." So enough blacks did say, "Yes, let's put Trump in there because we want to make this country a good nation again." And I pray that that will hold true next year in the 2020 election, because Obama and his goons, his legions who represent the Democratic Party, are the ones who are doing what we're seeing today in this country. They are destroying the Constitution. They already have said more than once they want to eliminate the Electoral College. The Electoral College is the foundation of how America has freedom to vote. You take away the Electoral College, you've basically said it'll now be determined who will be the dictator. They'll say he's the president based on what they think it should be and not on individual voting. Us as people having the right to decide for ourselves who we vote for. It'll be the socialist communists saying, "This is what we choose to do and you will accept," because now there is no procedure anymore where individuals have freedom of voting rights. And that's where the Electoral College being eliminated will do that. It'll phase out your individual rights to vote. Hillary Clinton said that because she knew Mexicans don't speak English. They can't read English. And she knew that's why I lost the election. We can't expect to be able to get the candidate we want in office based entirely on who votes. because there's not enough of those Mexicans we tunneled in here and funneled into America who would know how to vote because they don't know our language. So now she's saying, well, let's just get to the heart of how voting works in America and get rid of those processes that make up our Constitution and how our system of government is supposed to work. And that's the Electoral College first. Once it's gone, there's nothing left except what blacks have been saying about whites. You represent slavery, you're a racist, you're a bigot, all the rest. They're the racists. The blacks are slaves of themselves because they cannot get beyond their own past. People who don't learn from their past are condemned forever to repeat it. Look it up in the history books. It says that more times than first. People who don't understand what's happened in the past will never learn in the future. They'll want to keep going back to it over and over again. And that is what Barack Obama has instilled in every black in this country today. That whatever you want, you are entitled to it. And go out and take it. And this is why you see this change of philosophy within our judicial system about blacks who are arrested for crimes. They're using the excuse that it's racism instead of it being what it's really about, which is they've committed a crime. And they'll use that and say they're not guilty of anything because of the philosophy that all blacks see racism as an answer for anything that happens to their own race. Even if it's legitimately a crime, they still consider that it's all the fault of white people, that it's the result and the blame of Trump himself. They blame Trump for everything. And it's like, this is idiocy. You know, stupidity now reigns in our foundations as a constitutional people because we believe only what one dictator says, and that's Barack Obama, who did it for 10 years as president of this country. He destroyed the foundations of America itself. And today, people laugh off anyone who says contrary to their vision of what Obama was. He was a great black man who did such incredible things for America. But really, if you dig down far enough, you're going to see he didn't do squat. Now they're trying to say that what Trump has done in 4 years helping the economy was all the result of Barack Obama. That's laughable. He didn't do squat for 8 years. He let blacks sit on their butts and do nothing. And he gave them a paycheck. He said, you don't gotta work. Just sit and watch television. Smoke your weed. I just made that legal. Go out and buy heroin and marijuana. And that's what he's been doing since. And he controls the media. That's why everything we hear on the news is fake. Because they're telling him what to say on television. They're the ones that are getting the orders to say whatever they have to. Because of Barack Obama telling them to say it. I was thinking about Edward R. Murrow was a journalist. Edward R. Murrow was so famous a journalist that they've made awards that they give to journalists in today's society who get special recognition for work they've done. And I thought, the whole foundation of Edward R. Murrow's work was objective journalism. Objective means you give both sides of a subject to the viewer and they decide. That is not what journalism is. Journalism is one-sided. It is Obama or originated because Obama tells it to the media and then they tell it to you. There is no objective journalism at all in the United States today because Barack Obama, being a communist dictator, decides what will be on television and what you hear. And then he's got something that everybody knows about and they deny it. And it's called subliminal suggestion. Barack Obama used subliminal suggestion every day in high definition television. And he's brainwashed enough people ever since he was president. He had 150 different psychologists to tell him, how do you control a person's mind through subliminal suggestion? How do you control the beta and the alpha waves the human brain detects? And within 4 years, he had totally wiped out individuality through those mindless zombies who watch high definition television today. And now he uses it every day to feed crap into your minds. Folks, I think this is a wake-up call. If you think children who go out and shoot other students in school, is this randomness? No. This is the government using your own children to manipulate their minds and use it as an excuse to instigate martial law. They've been trying to do that even before Obama left office. Now they're saying we've got to keep this program going because we've got to get rid of Trump. And they've been trying to do that since day one. They've been trying to say, oh, Trump's guilty of this and that, he should be impeached. And it's like, where are you getting all this information from? It's not factual, and it certainly isn't realistic, because everything has proven Trump had no collusion with Russia. He had nothing to do with it. And they just keep hashing all the time about that. So this is what we are facing right now in mid-2019. A idiot Obama dictator who says Trump's trying to do what's right, but we're not going to have it. We're not going to allow it. We're going to control minds. And when it comes time for the election, we're going to switch on that brain controller, and it's going to eradicate any type of resistance. And then we're going to get whoever we want in there. And then Obama's plan will be able to continue at full force. And that's what their intentions are. If you haven't seen a movie, it's called They Live, you should. This is about an alien race who came to Earth. They've been here 3-4 decades, maybe four generations. They were using a brain control device to transmit through television. And people only saw human beings when they saw these aliens. At the end of the movie, they had found a way to take off the deception by having people wear glasses. You wore the glasses, you saw the real person. And then at the end, they destroyed this brainwave machine, and finally everybody saw what it really was, who they really were. And it was a wake-up call. Obama is doing that to America. He's perverting everything America's founded on because he doesn't want people to believe anything that Trump is trying to do for this country. He wants to brainwash people, continually brainwash them, stop any resistance. So, if none of this makes sense, if people are still going to say I'm a conspirator, whatever, I say, Lord, come quickly, because we have nothing left in America who have individual thought, individual minds. All of them are walking dead zombies, because all they care about is listening to one dictator, Barack Obama, who tells you what to do, how to live, everything. And that is why people are giving up trying to stand for freedom, because they don't care and they don't want to care what is freedom anymore.
قديش عمرها؟